So welcome to this special session. It's my pleasure to introduce Konstantin. Konstantin is head of digital marketing and pricing for Ozone.ru, Ozone, which is the largest e-commerce players in Russia, and has been running, as you heard before today, some quite technologically advanced segmentation tools, which got the Yandex mathematicians very excited. And this is not an easy task to get the Yandex mathematicians excited from outside. So he managed to do that. So please welcome Kostya.
So it's a pleasure and privilege to be here and wear a white label on my neck. So I'm glad to be one of the presenters today in this great crowd of Yandex people. So let's get to know each other a little bit. Can you please show me hands who are from agencies, maybe? Okay, a big crowd. Who are from e-commerce, goods, and what about services, travel? Who is from travel? Okay. Who else? Like banking, I don't know, insurance, other industries. Who is not from anything what was mentioned? Okay. So agencies, e-commerce, travel. So it will be interesting primarily for buy side of the market, but for agencies as well who are willing to excite their customers with new approaches and analytics. So a little bit about us. So who we are. We are a Russian e-commerce website selling goods, and the Russian e-commerce market is growing steadily for the last few years in a row. And last year, the market grew about 21% in ruble value. And an interesting point that the cross-border part of the market, the deliveries of goods from outside of Russia are growing faster than the domestic local player part of the market. In Ozone, we have a very simple mission. So we are building life where everyone will buy in a Russian way, all they need, in a profitable way, and so convenient online. And in our day-to-day work, we use very simple core values for our customers, only 5 of them. So this is it's called Ozone formula, which has 5 bubbles instead of 3 oxygen atoms in ozone formula, but these bubbles are pretty simple. So all they need means that if it is possible to buy something online, you will be able to buy it from Ozone. In a profitable way means that we at Ozone spend our time and we prepare homework in order to crawl the web and to collect prices of our competitors in order to set our own prices at the minimum possible level on the market. Convenience is really important, and it comes from the website to making an order to logistics, and everything have to go smoothly and in a very predictable way so that the customers will be surprised in a positive way in the end, so that they get their deliveries same day or next day, and they happy to come back and stay with us more. The 4th pillar is individual approach. So we are trying to be very granular in what we do with our clients, especially in marketing. And a part of my presentation is about that, how to be very to use differentiated approach to your audiences. And the most important bubble is trust. So we do everything what we do inside Ozone to build trust with our customers so that they will come back, they will become loyal, and they will stay with us and buy more and more. So what do we sell? We sell more than 4 million different goods online right now in a lot of categories, and we split our assortment on 12 major categories. And of course, we started with a more narrow assortment about 20 years ago. We started with books, and actually we are similar in strategy as Amazon in the United States. And books stayed a quite large category for us for quite a long time. And this year, the next second category, electronics, is surpassing books finally. So we are transferring from being an online bookstore to a general merchandise e-commerce website. Of course, you can also buy anything you need for your home, anything you need to grow your kids, or anything you need to stay healthy and beautiful. We also launched apparel one more time 2-3 years ago. We were quite late in the game in e-fashion, but now this category is growing really fast and shows surprisingly great results. So we have zoo and food category, which is anything people eat or animals eat, and this category also is growing triple-digit numbers year on year. We have anything for doing sports and some smaller categories in media, as we call it, CDs, vinyl, DVDs, and Blu-ray, soft and antiques. We also introduce new categories every year. Our last 3 interesting categories are alcohol. We help selling alcohol to our partner, our offline partner, who has a chain of specialized markets. We also sell medical drugs together with a large pharma network in Russia. And we also introduced products for adults last year. And we deliver them in black packages so that nobody knows what is inside. And it is important that I spend so much time describing to you our assortment, because our aim is to uncover more and more categories that are able for purchasing online to our existing customers. Some of our customers are so loyal to us and they continue purchasing, but they purchase in the same categories as they did it years before that. So we need to have resources and tools to upsell and cross-sell to them in many different touch points with marketing. And my presentation today about how to do it with digital marketing. In terms of growth, we continue growing faster than the local market and the market overall. We grew 24% last year by the number of orders. We sold almost 30 million goods, 30 million items last year. We also grew by nominal value. We are now roughly at 300 million euros gross merchandise value last year in goods, and additional 400 million euros in travel services like airfare, railway tickets, and hotels from our sister company, Ozone.travel. Our greatest achievement for the last 2 years that demonstrates our customer-centric approach, and the 4 bubbles I told you about, is our conversion rate. So all the company work together to improve the overall service, pricing, assortment, marketing, website, in order to improve the behavior of our customers on the website, and our conversion rate doubled, more than doubled, within the last 2 years. So it came up from 1.3% in January 2015 to 3.3% in January 2017. And it continues growing month to month steadily. So a part of this improvement in conversion rate, of course, comes from digital marketing, and here you're close to see how it all works. So what is the main business problem we are trying to discuss during that talk? So there is a big dichotomy in digital marketing. So what is more important, channels or audience? Sometimes marketeers, especially in digital marketing, use a lot of math in order to optimize their metrics, and usually they optimize channels, campaigns. So people in digital marketing are trying to squeeze all the data that they have in order to increase ROI per channel. And they ask questions to themselves like, oh, what is the ROI of my channel? What is ROI of my campaign? So our understanding right now that we need to get back to our audience. We need to shift our focus to people and to understand what they need and what is their expected purchasing behavior in the future. So we are trying to ask ourselves a question: what is the expected lifetime value of this particular customer? How can we attract and retain the most valuable customers to us? And how to balance acquisition with reactivation in terms of budget allocation. In fact, the modern digital marketeers need to do both. And our idea right now is that you can do both at the same time independently. You can optimize each channel, each campaign, but at the same time be smarter in terms of audience management. And Yandex provides a really great opportunity to do that with bid modifiers on Yandex audiences. It's a great tool, and we use it a lot in order to use the right-hand side approach on that slide. So the preferred way to work with audience until recently was segmentation. And marketeers of the world know very well how to segment their audiences. Usually we use RFM, the best segmentation that we know. It is about recency, frequency, and monetary. So how long ago someone did something, how frequently he or she did it, and how much of this action was done in the past. So if you look through the conversion funnel on a typical e-commerce website, we have the beginning of a funnel, people we don't know, we never saw on our website. So we can use maybe demographics, which was criticized a lot in the beginning of the day today. We can use browsing interests as search intent segments from Yandex, for example. So we can use some data here, some behavior triggers in order to optimize our acquisition in terms of which audience to attract to. When people come to our to Yandex to search something, we already can optimize by keywords. So we can measure which keywords provide more valuable audience and target that keywords with higher bids. So it's just, you know, bread and butter right now for PPC type marketing for years already. So when people click on the website, we already become more knowledgeable about their behavior and what their interests are from the first party data. We know how engaged the audience is, how many page views overall were done, how long ago, how many page views per each session, etc. We also know which product pages were seen by a customer, etc. Then lower on the conversion funnel, people start to add something to cart, and we get additional information about the value, monetary value of cart additions. And the strongest data that we have is about purchases of people. So what people have purchased, and usually in e-commerce, we know exactly who bought what, because we track all the conversions, all the orders that we have delivered. So it's not as problematic as for example, for offline retailers. So people used to do a lot of interesting segmentations here and created segments. They uploaded them to different marketing platforms and to Yandex as well. And that helps to work better with audiences. So why segmentation works? It's purely mathematical tautology. It's easy to show. If you optimize per segment, you get better results than if you optimize overall. So here just a simple toy example. Imagine we have a campaign. We choose which cost per click to apply to that campaign, and we measure the overall profit of that campaign. Imagine we have a million of parallel universes. We can try different CPCs in the same environment, and we measure profit. So we take the maximum of the profit, and we get the optimal CPC for that overall audience on the market. Okay, so in that example, it is 9 rubles per click and 1.2, I don't know, billions of profit. Okay, and profit here is your profit minus marketing investment. So if you split the audience on some segments, and if segments are at least slightly different, so that when you optimize each segment separately, you get different cost per clicks for different segments, right? And you get some optimal profits for each segment. When you sum up this optimal maximal profits with different cost per clicks per each audience, surprisingly, you get more than the optimal value for the overall audience. It's pure math. It's very simple. It's just like this. The only limitation here is that you need to have unlimited amount of data and testing in order to optimize on smaller audiences, right? So if you slice and dice your audience too much, you will not have enough data in order to learn what is the optimal cost per click to optimize. So there is a downside of segmentation, but again, segmentation helps. So what is the solution that we decided to use instead of standard RFM segmentation or standard behavior approaches that were used before? We decided, let's use the data. So give me the data and I will change the world. We decided, okay, let's collect everything we know about our website visitors. We'll collect what they bought if they used to buy something. We collected what they put into carts, so what product pages they visited. We collected other information that we know from the analytics on the web, like screen size, geolocation by IP address, the operation system of a computer, the device agent, like many different signals that we may have. For example, many people know that the conversion rate in e-commerce websites from Safari, from a high resolution screen monitor, is a little bit higher than for the remaining part of the audience. So we have collected a lot of data and applied machine learning on top of that. And the key thing here is to set the right goal to mathematics in order to get interesting results. So we developed an approach internally in Ozone, and we want to, advertise it outside of Ozone for any industry. We call this approach CBR, scoring of leads. And basically, we ask ourselves 3 questions, and we want to build 3 predictive scores out of all the data and historical information that we have about our audience. The first question: what is the probability that this particular customer will come back from an unpaid channel by him or herself? So this metric shows how loyal the customer is at the moment. The second question is, so our customer came to our shop, to our dealership, to any business location, and what is the probability to buy if the customer showed up in our shop? And in e-commerce, it's just an expected value of your conversion rate on the website. And the last thing is revenue, and it's about the expected order if this particular customer buys something from you. In e-commerce, it's AOV, average order value, the expectations of that. So we just posed these 3 simple business questions, took historical data that we had, collected this more than 300 features that we know about our customers, and we use different machine learning approaches, starting from linear logic regressions, random trees, artificial neural networks. The truth is that we use the most sophisticated approaches in order to get the most of the data, and then we applied a simple linear approach, and we saw that the precision is almost the same, but it takes much less time to process it on our computers. So the most important part is to ask the right question and to collect the right features for your model, and then the rest is easy, and in the future it will be done automatically by an AI that teaches AI how to build AI. So like it's all that stuff that is popular right now. So we built that model and we decided to check how it works. And surprisingly, it worked really, really well. So we forecasted, for example, second metric B, the forecasted conversion rate. We bunched people with the same forecasted score together, calculated the actual conversion rate in the future, and we built that chart. And like the fitted curve is more or less goes through the bisectries of the chart. That's great. I mean, we forecast that your conversion rate is 10%. Well, we don't know. You can be 0 conversion or 1 conversion, right? It's only discrete result. But overall, like 1,000 of people like you will convert 10% of the time. The same is about average order value. Honestly, this is not that. This third score is not that precise because people buy big orders, small orders. It doesn't relate it that much to the audience, but still there is dependence. Some people buy usually with bulk orders. Some people buy books with smaller size orders. So we also can predict that. So we do that now every day, every night. We collect information about 20 million plus recent visitors of our website and all our buyers so far. We calculate the free predictive scores and we can use them next day in all our advertising, including the advertising with Yandex. And what is an interesting metric that is derived from that scores is the product of the conversion rate and the average order value, which is the expected revenue per user if that user comes tomorrow. So we built that distribution of all the recent visitors on our website whom we scored at midnight. And we were shocked how uneven that distribution is. So we can reliably predict that some of our customers are much more likely to buy and are likely to buy a lot compared to our average audience on a website. And here we come to the key question of marketeers of how to build relationships with customers and where to focus. First of all, when you see people with expectedly low revenue per visit, you can decide. You can deprioritize these customers in favor of more converting customers, or you can decide you will invest money in low converting audience in order to make them converting better and move them to the right. When you take the middle of that distribution here, you already see a well-established customer of yourself, a person who will buy good amount of goods from you. You need to develop them to become most loyal and most frequently purchasing customers. And here, on the most far right end of the distribution, you have to retain that audience and protect them from competitors. Competitors they don't need to have any opportunity to show their ads to your people. Okay, so this is kind of 3 main strategies that you can use knowing that data. So what is our approach with Yandex and audiences in Yandex Metrica? So remember, we have that few tens of millions of cookies scored every day. We calculate that expected revenue per visit. We calculate the relative revenue per visit by dividing the number by the average revenue per visit on our website, and we get a number. 1 means that this customer will likely buy an average amount if he comes to our website, right? So we put that guy on the 10th segment, the most abundant segment here. So these are people who are like average, okay? And we decided to do segmentation on a logarithmic scale. So everyone who is 20% better than the average guy comes to 11th segment. Those who are better than the average guy 1.2 at the power of 2 come here, okay? So in the segment 20, we put everyone who is 6 times better than the average, and those customers who didn't show up on our website for quite some time, but we know that they're good. So just in case, to keep them protected, okay? And the same is on the other side, and luckily we have not that many people who are not that great in terms of future performance. So we deprioritize them in our advertising. So we upload these 20 segments into Yandex Audiences, and next we can put bid modifiers on each segment and put higher bid modifiers on more valuable segments and lower bid modifiers for more left-hand side audiences. So we measured the actual conversion rate through running campaigns in non-branded keywords in search. It's standard, plain simple thing which is available on the market for 15 years or more. Just, state-of-the-art of PPC marketing. And we see that we differentiated the average to our audience by segments that perform consistently and predictably on a different level by conversion rate. And as you can see, I keep here people who are not in the segmentation, who are new to us, who are not in any audience in Yandex audiences, and it should be like people here are kind of average by conversion rate, and the most, the best segments are performing at a level of 2-3 times better than the average. Due to technical reasons, we cannot measure revenue per visit here, where we improved that a month ago. This data is about 90 days long test, so I didn't show revenue per user here. So we hope and believe that the difference by revenue per user, the actual difference by revenue per user is much better. And here, as you may see, the conversion rate is less because, as I said, we put there some people who used to buy a lot with us but didn't show up on our website for quite some time. So, and the good, thing here that if I know that the conversion rate is better for a segment, I have to put higher bid on that audience, because this is search. That's plain search. People write something in Yandex. I want to buy that. Even if this guy is, your most loyal customer, for some reason, he or she is, guy or girl, he or she is searching for something not on your website. So if you don't show your ad to that person, you will lose a customer. This deal will go to someone else. So if you're ready to invest some amount of money with certain ROI, you have to increase your bid. It's slightly different with display ads, but it's out of scope for this conversation. So, and another thing is, so you put higher bids on better audiences. Of course, you go higher in the on the placement in Yandex, and also Yandex also learns that our company is more smart than competitors in terms of bidding. Yandex is, as I understand it, wants to show ads to those people who have better CTRs. So actually the CTR is also better for the right-hand side audiences as well. So it helps Yandex to rate our ads with better quality because of better conversion rates, better engagement, etc. So we help Yandex to sell us more, right? That's win-win situation. So what we did, we put that bid modifiers on the segments. So the actual cost per clicks per segment for 90 days are here. You may see that the new audience is more or less around 10, 11, 12. So that thing works, and as a result, what we aimed to achieve, our CPO is almost the same in each segment. So in places where audience is converting much better, we put better, higher bids on CPC, and we achieve the same level of CPO. Again, this is an intent-driven traffic, people who are willing to buy something in search. So we kind of either acquire or reactivate existing customers. If we don't pay for that ads, we lose that customer. And here we have slightly higher CPO because it's a cost of reactivation for old customers who didn't show up for us for quite some time. So it looks like everything works well. So what did we get as a result of that? The great finding from that project was that we are now growing like crazy with Yandex. So if you calculate non-branded sales, non-branded meaning without the mentioning of the name of our company, without branded keywords, as we say in PPC marketing, we grow more than 200% year on year this May. So what is 200% growth? It's we sell 3 times more with Yandex than a year ago. Well, of course, and by the way, now in June we grow even higher. We grow 250% year on year. Of course, our investment with Yandex is also growing. I mean, there is no free lunch. As you may see, the sales, the orange bars are speeding up, and now we're more than 200% in May. And the blue bars, the growth of our investment with Yandex is also growing. In May, we had some weird stuff. Our ROI improved 2 times. I don't know. It happens. And it continues like this in June, by the way. So we invest more with Yandex, more than twice, last year, in that particular channel. And we had, weird conversations internally in Ozone, because this high growth in one channel also correlates with better growth for overall company. We grow much faster this year than it was last year. And our CIO told me once in end of March, he told, "Oh, Kostya, you also manage analytics department that reports sales results to us, to all the management team. Sometimes I look on these dashboards and I see maybe you guys are crazy. Maybe you think that March 31 is the end of the world and you need to achieve 50% growth. I don't know. Are you saint? I mean, everything is as you report." So I was thinking serious about this comment, and so we took effort. We called to our in-house logistics, and we told them, "Guys, let's take yesterday. Please send us the numbers of orders that you actually delivered from your own system." We took that, more than 20,000 orders for one day, and we checked that, yes, yesterday, up to 3% precision, we have these orders in our system. So it's all fine. We do grow like that in terms of sales. So this is the fantastic result that we have, and we hope it will improve even better, because we learn better. We collect that very loyal customers. It's like a tractor that goes on the field and collects the best people into the truck, and we all go together and buy more and more. And the Yandex learns from working with us that we are a reliable customer. We bid only for those who are good. So I hope it will be even better in the future. Also, if we look at a more long-term engagement metrics, our cohorts became smiling much earlier than they did before. So what is a smiling cohort? You take customers who made a first order in a certain period of time, we take months. And then you keep how many of these people, like 100%, were still purchasing every other month. And usually this cohort is decaying quite fast in the beginning, and then it is going either flat or a little bit falling due to natural churn. So in our case, at some point very early in the life of a cohort, within 6 to 18 months, the reactivation of the cohort exceeds the natural churn, and we get more and more engagement with the same people. And this is great because every investor, every shareholder is happy to see smiling cohorts, and they are looking for companies like that, and they bring bags of money to invest in marketing in that case. Yes, I took very long, very old cohorts. The youngest cohorts are even better. Yeah, so yeah, we internally track the data starting from 2010 because we changed strategy in 2010 a little bit. It doesn't make sense to go deeper in data. We have the data, but we don't go further in the past than that. The youngest cohorts are really like we have first-time buyers. Half of them run away, like we do in Amazon, for example. And then the remaining part are stay with us and continue purchasing. Like we may lose another 5-10% within half a year, and then we have them. They are happy customers of our company, and they continue buying, and they increase the purchase rate with Ozone. And the last but not the least, as I said, we are a multi-category general merchandise e-commerce website. And when we created all that approach, we hoped for that effect. So we hope that people will start buying in more categories due to that reason, because we are working with people we already know. We are not working on acquisition. We are working in the middle of a funnel and at the end of a funnel. We take those who already buy well with us. Maybe they buy in certain category, and maybe they don't even know that we launched products for adults, but they desperately need them. Maybe they are shy to look at on a bookstore, and they still search it in Yandex. So we help them to discover what else they can buy with their favorite e-commerce website. And here you can see that our share of buyers who buy in 2 or more categories per month from Yandex non-branded channel, the blue line, was quite stable a year ago, right? We started all that story with massive uploading of segments in October, November, and boom, we have a jump in the share of people who buy in more than one category per month. And this stays stable. There are some oscillations due to seasonality and other features, like of course we add new categories, etc. But this is a great manifestation of what happens. Surprisingly, we do upselling and cross-selling via digital marketing, not through email. I mean, we do it through email as well, but it's a nice case to do that through digital channel. To wrap up, some key points for those who are interested a lot in that. There are a lot of details in that approach. In fact, we have 42 audiences, according to 2 months ago when I drew that slide. That's good for Yandex. Yandex loves the number of 42. So we have some small audiences for special needs. For example, we pay some attention to first-time buyers, second-order buyers, third-order buyers, reactivation when people come and they didn't buy for a year and then show up and like, oh, you for some reason came back. We need to make sure that you stay with us. So we have multiple segments. In addition to that, 20 mathematical segments, and we do them try and learn kind of approach. There's also a big question whether you need only positive bid modifiers. Do you need to use negative bid modifiers? For the pleasure of Yandex, we finally decided that large negative modifiers are not that good. So we need to invest into low-performing segments in order to develop them. So we are not that aggressive in negative modifiers right now. The great thing about lookalikes is that we build lookalikes per segment. And we see that if we build lookalikes per most valuable segment and per segment which is a little bit less performing, etc., we can build lookalikes that are also performing better than lookalikes constructed from less valuable segments. And that's important because when you build a lookalike from all the buyers, you take everyone, like everyone who can buy online, buy from us, and you say, oh, Yandex, please find someone who is, looks like this audience. Of course, Yandex will try, but it will be not that precise. But when you say, oh, these people 6 times better than average, please find similar audience, and we'll put higher bids on that lookalike than on a lookalike from a lower performing segment. I said about reactivating sleeping customers, and also there are tricks and learnings about how to upload tens of millions of cookies every day to Yandex Metrica. It's it's a pleasure to work with Yandex team because we didn't have big problems with that. You can use free things. You can upload by hashes of email, the most simple thing. The better thing to do is to upload by a cookie. Yandex Metrics ID, which is put by Yandex Metrics, is the best way to do that. Or maybe you can place a custom variable in your Yandex Metrics pixel and place that person by the CRM user ID that you pass to Yandex Metrica. So we use all 3 of them, and we are happy that we can combine all the possible touch points that we can use to get to our audience. As a summary, we have an additional tool to work with our audience. It is an additional optimization level to the existing work of a digital marketeer. We continue improving our channels. We continue to improve our creatives. We continue to improve our campaigns. But it's done separate. It's like you work on how the campaign looks like. And then you know that one person is 6 times better than the other one, so you place higher bid on the first person than on the second person. It's 100% performance-based. It's all forward-looking. It's all mathematical. We get better retention. We improve our cohort behavior. We protect our loyal audience, and we actually use the same approach in retargeting. The most interesting part is that we upsell and cross-sell via digital marketing. And a good achievement, about 50% of our budget in non-branded search, paid search with Yandex comes from Yandex audiences. Thank you very much for your attention.